We will open with prayer led by Councilman Washington.
Thank you, Madam President. Let us bow. Dear Lord Heavenly Father, allow the words of our mouth, the meditations of our heart, Lord, let them be acceptable in your sight as we conduct business for the greatest city in this United States of America, that is Gary, Indiana. In the precious name of our Lord and Savior, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Present.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Present.
Councilman Halliburton. Councilwoman Ivy.
Present.
Councilman Tolliver.
Present.
Councilman Washington.
Present.
Councilman Whittington.
Present.
Councilman Williams. President Latham.
Present.
Madam President, there are 7 present, 2 absent.
With 7 present and 2 absent, the Gary Common Council has a quorum to do business in the city of Gary. Colleagues, you have before you the minutes of our previous meeting. Is there a motion for acceptance?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second that we accept the minutes of our previous meeting. Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Ivy. Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Whittington.
Yes.
And President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, for the 7 to 0.
With a vote of 7 to 0, our minutes of the previous meeting have been accepted and are so ordered. Assignment of council pending ordinances and resolutions on first reading.
CBO 2025-44, an ordinance providing for appropriations in the Building Renovations Fund for the fiscal year 2026 expenses and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to IC 6-1.1-18-6, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Finance.
CBO 2025-45, an ordinance establishing a fund for the City of Gary and Hard Rock Casino matches for the Lake County Convention Center, and providing for additional appropriations in the casino operating fund for the fiscal year 2025 expenses, and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-18-6, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Finance.
CBO 2025-46, an ordinance providing for the transfer of appropriations between series for the Gary City Court for fiscal year 2025 budget, and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-18-6, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller, and Judge Deidre L. Monroe, Gary City Court.
Finance.
Madam President, ends the assignment of any ordinance and resolutions.
Thank you. Councilwoman Brown.
Madam President.
Councilwoman Brown.
Mike one.
Excuse me, Councilwoman Brown. I would like to acknowledge and let the record reflect that Councilman Dwayne Halliburton is present for the meeting.
Thank you. The Finance Committee has before it CPO 2025-44. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
And Councilman Whittington.
Yes.
Madam President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2025-44 for reporting out to the council. The Finance Committee has before it CPO 2025-45. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
And Councilman Whittington.
Yes.
Madam President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2025-45 for reporting out to the council. The Finance Committee has before it CPO 2025-46. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Caldwell
Yes.
and Councilman Whittington.
Yes.
Madam President, the majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2025-46 for reporting out to the council.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown.
The Finance Committee has before it CPO 2025-44, 25-45, and 25-46 for reporting out to the council.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilwoman Brown. At this time, any members for special and select?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the 16 weeks of summer. Will you have an opportunity to meet Councilwoman Brown? That's me, y'all. That's on Wednesday, August 20th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's at Tolleson Park in the 3rd District at 1709 Ellsworth Street. I'm sorry. And I'd like to announce the 3rd District has not had a community meeting for some time. And so we're going to have one on Monday, August the 11th at 5 o'clock p.m. at Tolleson Park Pavilion. Our special guest will be the Chief Derek Cannon of the Gary Police Department, Ms. Maxine Fitzgerald Williams, Director of Gary Parks, and County Councilman Ron Brewer from the 2nd District. And our other special guest will be Councilman at Large Miles Tolliver. So anyone is welcome to come. We look forward to seeing you. As again, I said, Monday, August the 11th at 5 o'clock p.m. at Tolleson Park Pavilion. And this will be the first community meeting we've had for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to residents coming out. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Good evening. Please join Councilwoman Caldwell in the 5th District for our community forum, Monday, August the 25th at 5:30 at Roosevelt Park Pavilion, 2145 Harrison Street, Gary, Indiana. Our special guests will be Congressman Frank Marvan, State Senator Mark Spencer, State Representative Dr. Vernon G. Smith, Lake County Councilman Ronald Brewer, and I believe Representative Reagan Hatchett. We'll have legislative updates will be presented. So please join us Monday, August the 25th at 5:30 at Roosevelt Pavilion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Madam President,
Councilman Halliburton.
I'd like to give
Also like to harp on what my colleague stated about the 16 weeks of summer. You can meet me on Wednesday, August 6th from 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. at this Brownsville Park. It's the City of Gary 16-week cleanup meetup. And please stop by for on-site resources and services. That will be Wednesday, August 6th between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Tell everyone at Brownsville Park. Councilman Halliburton will be there as well as the City of Gary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Halliburton. Councilman Tolliver.
Yes, I would like to, on behalf of myself and the Gary County Council, I want to wish everybody a great school year. I know 21st Century started today, and I know that the other schools will be starting, so I want to give everybody, wishing them the best this year. Make sure we get their work done, and from our seniors, figure out what you want to do post-secondary education or whatever you want to do in life. Make sure you have a plan, because the time is of the essence. You have to make sure that you have those career opportunities at your hands. So I want to wish them a great school year.
Thank you, Councilman Tolliver. Any other members, special and select? We have 2 August birthdays, the Gary Common Council. Our own, the voice of the Gary Common Council, Cam Reynolds. Your birthday's in August, right? It has an August birthday, so we wish you a happy birthday. And then in his absence, Councilman Dwight Williams also has a birthday in August on the 22nd. So we wish Ms. Kim, Clerk, Madam Deputy Clerk Reynolds, as well as our Councilman Williams, a very happy birthday. And then on August the 26th at 5 p.m., the Air Pollution Advisory Committee will be meeting here at the Gary Public Library. We have received notice of a number of air polluting permits from the NIPSCO, the Gary Etna, Indiana Operating Center, from the U.S. Steel Corporation at Gary Works, from Carmouche Lime Incorporated, are the three just this month. The comment period on these applications are open, and more information about the applications have been placed here at the Gary Public Library and can be accessible here. But we will talk more about these permits on August the 26th at 5 p.m. at the Gary Public Library, this branch. Councilman Washington.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to thank the public who came out to the Gary Planning Commission's meeting where a draft of the comprehensive plan was presented before the public. It was presented by MKSK Planning Director Corey Sharp with an excellent job in presenting. We are going to have a public meeting with the Planning and Development Committee meeting on August 12th at 5:30 here at the Gary Public Library, so the comprehensive plan can be presented to the Common Council. It was a great opportunity. I know Madam President was there, and it was a great opportunity to see the different properties and what the administration has come up with on how we're going to strategically plan to get our city's properties in order and to be able to get them back on the tax rolls. I want to say congratulations to the mayor and his staff, especially Corey Sharp and Attorney Molina, and the Planning Commission, who was in attendance also, had a great time that evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. Any other members for special and select? Councilman?
You said that meeting is on the 12th.
12th at 5:30, and that's in case you decide tonight that you want to have your budget and finance, your finance meeting on the 12th on Tuesday. You can do it at 5 o'clock.
Hint. Hint. Hint.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other colleagues for special and select? Seeing none, we have come to the space in our agenda for a public comment. We have 3 signed up to speak tonight. You have 2 minutes to speak. Our parliamentarian, Linda Barnes-Caldwell, will be keeping time. This is usually not a question and answer period. It's an opportunity for the public to make comments. However, especially when questions, comments pertain to city services, we have members of the administration who are here who may be able to answer your questions. At this time, all members of the administration, can you please raise your hand? All right. We'll start with Marcia Coleman, followed by Mrs. Linda Collins Brown. Welcome. And then, Brian and Bonnie Louis. Welcome, Ms. Coleman.
Thank you. Okay, I'll be brief and to the point. All right.
Closer to the mic.
Can you hear
And
me?
make sure your mic is on.
Test, test. Okay, awesome. Okay, I have 2 questions. The first, I'll deal with, for some of my elderly neighbors, they're kind of concerned about reporting issues, fearing that if they call the police, that sometimes the police will go to their neighbor and say, hey, you know, so-and-so called on you. So because of that, I guess that's things that's happened in the past. I don't know. They feel they cannot report an issue. So is there any way they can report anonymously? Let's say the Gary 311 Act. I know about it, but I don't know if they do. So how do they report issues anonymously? That's the first question. And then keep going?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, the second concern had to do with an aggressive dog, and I must compliment Congressman Halliburton. He's been very instrumental in assisting me in this matter.
In Jesus' name.
The reason being, I don't have any pets in the house because we have people with severe allergies, but yet I've been around dogs, and this dog is kind of different. There's a gate separating us. However, because we have a detached garage and I have to walk from the garage to my house across the patio, This dog is kind of aggressive when it's trying to rush the gate basically, and is drooling, what have you. So of course I brought it to Councilman Hallenberg's attention. He told me, of course, not too much can be done because the dog was in the gate. It has to be out and about. I heard stories, but because I couldn't verify, I couldn't do anything. However, this past Saturday, when I went out, and this time stamp on my phone, I was actually about to go out my front door because I can no longer park in my garage because of this dog. So when I went out my front door, I opened my drakes. That dog was walking around the neighborhood, and he's a very big dog. So I went ahead, I did the Gary 311 app, and also I did report it to my councilman as well. The questions and comments I have, because the homeowner, my mother and I were kind of discussing this, and hopefully I can find all these questions. Of course I can't find them when I need them. All right, as far as, do we have any laws in Gary as far as?
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. That's 2 minutes. But I'll ask our chief of staff to address the anonymous tip line as well as reaching out to animal control during his report. Mrs. Linda Collins Brown, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I do appreciate the time afforded me to speak before you today. I do so with a heavy heart. I'm disappointed, and I feel a little bit of anger. I wish the council would explain to us, the citizens of Gary, and trust me and believe me when I know that Dr. Vanessa Allen McLeod's tenure was up. I know all of that, and I do know that the city council has the right to reappoint someone at their discretion. However, I've been around a very, very long time, been involved with the Gary School Board meetings and taking my children to meetings and the whole 9 yards since the early 80s. And the council, the board that we had with Dr. Vanessa Allen McLeod was by far the best one that we've had in a very, very, very long time. So I am so extremely disappointed. You know, the city is moving forward in the right direction, and I applaud the mayor and his entire administration. Our school is getting back on track and was headed in the right direction. I think that was a very poor move, and I do believe, now it's rumored that it was in retaliation because a person on the city council felt the need to complain because they were parked in an illegal parking spot, a fire zone, and nothing was done about it. He or she felt the need to complain because she felt that, or he, that it's okay, but it isn't. It's a fire hazard, it's illegal, okay, and it's wrong. So we must abide by the rules, and we must set examples for our young people. And to the young people on the city council, stand firm in what you believe to be right. And I support, you know, us going back, rethinking this, and then putting Dr. McLeod back on that board. Thank you, I appreciate the time afforded me.
Thank you, Mrs. Collins Brown. Brian and Bonnie Lewick.
Hi, my husband stepped out. He had a tickle in his throat, and I don't know why I signed the paper to talk. We're just here to get rezoned.
Thank you.
So, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who came to speak. At this time, we will hear our council pending ordinances and resolutions on third and or final reading.
CPO 2025-41, an ordinance reviewing a special use permit for property located at 1040 North Union Street to be used as a short-term rental property by petitioners Jason and Tanya Platt, sponsored by the Gary Zoning Department. Petitioner Jason and Tanya Platt, 1040 North Union Street, Wareham.
Colleagues, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for approval. I'm sorry, is there a motion on CPO 2025-41? Attorney Molina is doing the overview.
Good evening, President Latham and council members. On this CPO 2025-41, it is for a short-term rental special use at 1040 North Union Street. As we discussed at the committee meeting last, this came before the BZA on June 12, 2025, and it received a unanimous vote to favorably recommend the grant of a special use permit. It had been duly publicized, a public hearing was held, there were no remonstrators, and the Board of Zoning Appeals felt that this property did indeed meet the 7 requirements that we have as part of our ordinances for a special use permit to be granted. It is zoned residential, and it will remain as residential use as a short-term rental property if it is approved. If there's any questions, I'm certainly happy to entertain those, and the petitioners are present.
Thank you, Attorney Molina. Any questions, comments, discussion from colleagues? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
We can can you repeat it? We're voting on CPO 2025-41?
Yes, it's for a short-term rental, special use at 1040 North Union Street.
And I'll just say, there's a motion on the floor. Can I still discuss it? Does anyone object? I'll just give rid of the overview. Jason and Tanya Platt were both at the Planning and Development Committee meeting. I believe this is the pastor and pastor's wife who bought a piece of property, who will be here short-term and plan to retire here once they retire from their church in the parsonage.
The standard of the parsonage in Chicago.
All facts. All right. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-41 is passed and is so ordered.
CPO 2025-42, an ordinance for rezoning property located at 5339 West 15th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, by petitioner Robert L. Lewis, sponsored by the Gary Planning Commission. Petitioner Robert L. Lewis on behalf of Buy and Save Incorporated.
Madam President,
Councilman
I
Washington.
make a motion to refer CPO 2025-42 back to the Planning and Development Committee with a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 12th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. The petitioner, nor did the petitioner's representative show for the Planning and Development Committee.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. It's been moved and seconded that CPO 2025-42 is referred back to committee. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Winston.
Yes.
And President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-42 has been referred back to committee.
CPO 2025-43, an ordinance for rezoning property located at 925 North Shelby, Gary, Indiana, by petitioner Brian Lewick, sponsored by Gary Zoning Department. Petitioner Brian Lewick, 925 Shelby Street, Gary, Indiana.
Colleagues, at this time, I'll entertain a motion. It's been moved by Councilman Winston,
Second.
second by Councilman Washington. Overview, please.
Yes, on 2025-43, we're dealing with the property at 925 North Shelby Street. Petitioner Brian Lewick has petitioned the Plan Commission for a rezone. There was a public hearing held on June 18, 2025. A unanimous vote recommended that the rezone be granted. It's currently rezoned as a B1, and they're seeking a rezone to a B3, which allows for a full-service restaurant. That was the issue. Basically, B1 is limited as a retail district, more for cafes and things like that, and this is a full-service restaurant. At the public hearing, there were no remonstrators against. There were 2 people who showed up to speak in favor. of having more dining options in the area. If you recall, Mr. Lewick was at the committee meeting last and explained his vision for the restaurant. They have complied with everything that we have asked from the planning department. There was a question raised about parking and whether they had enough spots. They do indeed qualify under our ordinance and do have enough spots. So the city, the planning commission is asking that this receive a favorable recommendation from the city or approval from the council.
Thank you, Attorney Molina. Any questions or discussions?
Madam President,
Councilwoman Ivy?
Attorney Molina, is the petitioner here?
Yes,
I have a question.
Good evening.
Good evening. I may have been on travel when we had the committee meeting. Were you able to state your vision for the restaurant? Like, how much time do you anticipate before the full-service restaurant will be open and active?
Well, due to permits and whatnot, restaurant equipment, we're shooting for November. So,
Of 2025?
yes, yes, ma'am.
And what type of restaurant, I guess I should
We're
say?
gonna do steaks, pastas, pizzas.
So like more like a formal
Yeah,
kind of
more,
dining?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, we'll be checking in November.
Check it in. Okay. It'll be worth it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell?
No, ma'am, I don't, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Winston?
Yes.
And President Latham?
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With the vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-43 has passed and is so ordered.
Madam President, as pending ordinances and resolutions on third and final.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is this the time? We need to suspend the rules. Okay. Council pending ordinances and resolutions on second readings.
CPO 2023-44, an ordinance providing for appropriations in the Building Renovations Fund for fiscal year 2026 expenses and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-18-6, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, saluted to bring the city before.
Colleagues, I would like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules to pass CPO 2025-44 on all three readings.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ivy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. Discussion. Chief? Oh, I'm sorry, not on the.
Just a moment, it's another roll call.
So, but can I discuss why? So this is an appropriation needed in an emergency manner for the replacement of the City Hall elevator. As you all know, it's been out of order for months. It's the reason why we're here in the library. The elevator, to my understanding, is beyond repair. It needs to be replaced, which requires, of course, more money and additional budget appropriation. Because of the sensitive nature and, I guess, emergency nature of it, we would like to get the replacement moving as fast as possible, which is why I'm requesting that we suspend the rules and do this on all three readings. So roll call on suspension of the rules.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Winston? President Latham?
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
Thank you. With a vote of 8-0, we have suspended the rules. And now we need a motion for passage.
You have the motion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ivy. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Whittington. Now for the overview.
Good evening, Madam President and esteemed council. We thank you for even acknowledging the issue that we faced. As you know, the City Hall elevator, we believe was created or put in. They said either in the 30s or 40s and had some remodel since then. However, because of the age of the building and the uniqueness of that elevator that was created, we have to have a specially built elevator. Because our shaft is very small, so a unique elevator or a standard elevator, excuse me, will not fit our elevator shaft. So what we did is initially the city had been working with Kone, K-O-N-E. They had been working with them for multiple elevators throughout the city, but because of this emergency in nature, we wanted to reach out to any other elevator company that exists within the Chicagoland area, and so we were able to make connection with All Types Elevator. All Types Elevator did come back with a more responsible and lower quote. That quote is attached in your packet, and it's $230,000. Kone's information, if you don't have it, I can't share it. I thought it was attached to the packet. I can't re-forward it to the email. I just forwarded it and shared it, but we did attach it to that original.
I received it via email, but it's not printed.
Okay.
Does everybody else have it?
And I can send it out right now. Maybe we have it.
44 is not in here.
The ordinance or just the quote? Just the quote.
I've seen it, but
Okay.
I've seen it, but it's not printed.
I'll let our Public Works Director talk a little bit more about the elevator and the history and things like that, and I'll make sure I send it out right now to all of the council.
You got it?
We have the ordinance.
Okay, but just not the attachment.
Right.
Okay, he's gonna send it right out. So, excuse me, good evening. Thank you for hearing us. It is an emergency. It's been several months since the elevator has been down in City Hall, which is part of the reason that we're here in this room tonight. Ellis is correct, because the elevator is so old, the original build is just difficult to kind of come in. We actually had a line on an elevator, but it just simply would not fit. Kone has been servicing our elevators across the city for the last few years, as far back as I can tell. I find that their prices are incredibly high, that they're not competitive with a lot of other vendors, specifically All Types, who this proposal is from. We have recently brought All Types into our fold this year. They've been doing some work. One of the, I won't call it a disadvantage, but they're not as big of an outfit as Kone, so we've had some challenges with scheduling. They're out of Illinois, but their price and their work I find to be comparable, if not better than that of Kone. So I'm completely comfortable with moving forward with their proposal, which is roughly half of what was presented by Kone maybe a year and a half ago. So they've been working toward updating their proposal, and they just haven't done so yet. But I would expect that it would probably come in around $500,000 for, and it's not a new elevator, it's a complete kind of a rebuild. They refer to it as a modernization of the elevator. So that's kind of where we are. All Types is ready to go. If we agree on this tonight, and to Ellis's point, it would be about 30 days before we could bring all the elements and all the aspects of it together to start the work. So, thank you.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell?
I'm a little understanding. You have two quotes, Kone and All Types.
We don't have Kone. They still have not delivered the quote that we've been waiting on for about 3 weeks now from the other vendor. So the only one we have in hand right now
Councilwoman, is for the one that, all types. But we had previously. No, this is 230. But we had previously received a quote, I believe last year, Ellis Labor, or the year before, from CONAG. And that was coming in at least double the amount of all types. So adjusted for inflation and tariffs, I think we can anticipate that it would be higher, even still this year.
Those are the only 2 elevator services in the area?
There are. Actually, there is one other called South Suburban, but it's a very, very small operation. It's been a real challenge. But these are the only 3 that I'm aware of and that have been used for our city services over the years.
From South Suburban?
I beg your pardon?
Did you get a quote from them?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think South Suburban, the size of their operation, that they're even prepared to take on a job of this magnitude.
So if we went with all types, when would the project be completed?
That's a great question, and I would dare not give an answer to that tonight, but I could, if we agreed to move forward tonight, I could certainly get a better timeline for when we could expect to begin through completion of the work.
And how much is that again?
230,000 is the amount of the quote.
Oh, Councilman Whittington.
Oh, thank you very much. I just want to express my hesitancy was not with your work. I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, you do amazing work, especially with the limitations that we do have. So I do appreciate you. My hesitancy was, excuse me, it's just that I'm just now seeing the documentation. Even when we worked with like HUD, you always requested to get 3 estimates just to figure out. But I thank you for answering and talking about the limited scope being the size of the groups, and we had to retrofit the elevator. Sure. So my next question would be, since you answered that, the allocation says 337,000, but you said the estimate that we got today, that's all was 230,000.
I'm making sure I'm looking at the most recent update.
Yeah, that is it.
Okay.
Correct. We're not going to use additional appropriation. What we didn't want to do is find ourselves in a situation where there's any change order whatsoever, because it is an outdated and a retrofit, which we know have come into play, and then have to come back and ask for it again for an adjustment. Of course, we will continue to keep Chief of Staff Brooks as well as Council President up to update the entire council on these things, but we just wanted to make sure we had enough room to build in any type of change whatsoever. So that was in regards to it. There's some other building improvements that needed, but again, they're not urgent, but they do comply with ADA. The railing outside, as you guys have seen, climbed up, it's shaky. All of those things that we know, we're working with the council. We appreciate their support in the guaranteed savings, which are going to address a lot of these things, but the only emergency tonight is the elevator, because we know the timeline, and the goal is to get the City Hall back open. All of our public meetings, including the council, of course, have been inconvenienced outside of City Hall because it's not ADA compliant, as well as our staff, who right now, anybody who has to, we've had to make accommodations to make sure they can be in the lower floor.
No, I appreciate you, and thank you for the explanation. My only concern is not creating precedents going forward. And I don't say this out of disrespect. I appreciate everything you're doing. I just really like being in the know. And I think for the city's sake, especially as we talk about, expenditures and we talk about a limited budget, everyone just deserves to know ahead of time what we're working with and the full scope of it. Because looking at this 337, I appreciate the explanation. It just comes out of nowhere, and you ask us today to vote for it. And I'm looking at my email, I'm pretty consistent. I'm like, I haven't seen anything. So that was my only hesitation, but I do appreciate you, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And let me take responsibility for that, because it was, I've had it since last week at least, and should have passed it on to my colleagues.
I appreciate it.
So with travel and everything, that's something that I didn't do, but I take responsibility for that.
I appreciate you, awesome. Thank you.
Councilman Washington, and then Attorney Williams.
Yeah, my question, have we provided an estimate for some type of chairlift coming from the parking lot up the steps of City Hall?
So let me say this. In order to get our building, truly, honestly, it is a fair question.
And the reason why I asked that, Chief of Staff, is that we got some money that's available, and those stairs ain't no joke. And I know not only with Councilwoman Brown, but other people in the public have problems going up those stairs.
So our ADA, to answer your question, our ADA route for City Hall technically is an ADA ramp. You take the sidewalk to the ramp on the west side of the building, down that ramp, into the basement, and the elevator will go to whatever floor you need, and it's ADA accessible. The problem with that is that we've now fixed that door, so the handicap button works. We got that taken care of with the appropriations we already have, so at least that door works. But now our elevator's out. Also, like I just mentioned, the railing, even not being ADA, that railing, I would dare to have a person grab onto that railing in its current state. We've already got estimates for that. I'm happy to share that with the council. Again, we have enough appropriations, thankfully, for that because it's deemed in the situation. But I don't think a chairlift would be necessary for that. It has an ADA route should our elevator be up to par.
So we get that elevator straight, the ADA has it.
Correct. We are now back into ADA compliance. We did in this. We assessed. Again, COVID took a lot of things out of class. There was no shame to any other previous administration or what the resources were, but a lot of our buildings did not have up-to-date coded elevators. So all of our elevators were inspected at this point under Director Morgan Caesar's leadership. So Hudson and Campbell is good. The Marquette Park is good. Health Department is good. Police Department is almost there, but getting there. But again, we don't need additional appropriations in regards to those because they are good. Their repairs were within scope. None of them rolled to six figures.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. Yes, Councilwoman Ivy, and then Councilman Tolliver. Councilman Tolliver?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So with these repairs, what's the longevity? What's the life expectancy? Because I know you said that this is it was built in the 30s and 40s. So with this, are we looking at that the elevator's not gonna have any issues for what, the next 10 or 15 years? What are we looking at?
So what this package includes the warranty and maintenance plan. So what we've already communicated with now is ongoing maintenance schedules, both for HVAC but also with our elevators. So they'll come out and do routine maintenance, and of course, bar any unforeseen situation, it'll be covered under warranty. All of our belts, motors, essentials. Again, we don't want to set expectations unreasonable, so this does not change the cart. Cart is fine. I would have loved to just swap out the whole cart for this price. But unfortunately, again, our elevator shaft is small, so a standard cart to purchase doesn't fit. We tried that route already, and so they're gonna modernize all of it, so all of that's going to be in. So to answer your question, it'll all be covered under warranty, should there be any bar issues.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Well, that was part of my question. My next question would be, you stated that Kone had not come in with their proposal yet?
No.
So if you have all of this information from all types, does that mean that proposals are closed? Was there a due date? Are you still gonna evaluate both, or are we pretty much set on using all types of elevators?
So because it is an emergency and this was not an official bid in terms of receiving quotes, if we get one from Kone, I'm saying within the next 24 hours, we've literally been waiting for weeks. We'll look at it, but I know it's gonna be at least twice this amount for the same scope of work.
Madam President, so how does that work with a vote on the floor right now for this ordinance? How does that work for this company?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Williams, but we're just approving the budget appropriation.
Correct.
We're just
so
making the money, whomever, right, they would like. From South Suburban, from anyone. And I would just interject here before Attorney Williams speaks. There are a lot of things that I would shop for and buy, and price would probably be the number one criteria. Paint, chairs, tables, carpet, I may go with the lowest price. I'm not necessarily comfortable with just getting the cheapest elevator. Getting on an elevator requires a tremendous amount of trust. So I would ask that we be diligent in making sure that whoever we pick they have references, reputation, and quality of work. Because again, for something like an elevator, safety, accessibility, even the maintenance plan, warranty, I think those are things that would warrant us even paying more just to sleep at night than just the cheapest price. Attorney Williams.
Yes, thank you. I think Ms. Caesar did a good job clearing it up. We use the word bid in quotes interchangeably, and they're not. This would have triggered a bid requirement given the amount of money. But it is an ADA violation, and it definitely qualifies as an emergency. So they're not required to get the standard 3 bids that they otherwise would have been required to do because of the ADA violation that the Chief of Staff has pointed out. So rest assured, we are within the statute's authority. I think we probably waited a little too long. We probably should have brought it sooner. But it still, nevertheless, I think satisfies as an emergency, and the 1 bid would suffice. This is definitely not a quote situation. This is a bid situation. All right, just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you. Former Public Works Director, Attorney Renzer Williams.
But I take your point, Madam President, with regard to the quality and not being fixed on price exclusively.
I know Kone has a reputation. I think they're a national, if not international, firm. Can you speak to All Types Elevators, the work that they've done for us?
The work that
in
they've
the
done,
region?
can't speak to their regional work. I can do more homework on them, but the work that they've done for us in our buildings has been more than satisfactory. And they were actually given, and I'm actually kind of curious, when we do receive the Kone quote, because I suspect we will get it eventually, but it's for the exact same scope of work. So sometimes nationally or internationally recognized companies, the additional cost is for that recognition. So while we don't have money to pay double just because of their name, we are certainly looking for comparable services or outcomes.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Yes, Councilman Whittington.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
And Attorney Renzer, thank you too, I appreciate it. My question is, why don't we allocate $500,000 now? I mean, if you're gonna expect it's gonna be $500,000, to get it done right, and then just throw the rails in there as well.
So, our deputy controller is present. And I have to say that because before Controller Green left, she made sure that the appropriations in which where they came from was appropriate.
Okay.
And so I would have to defer that to our deputy controller to make sure where we're pulling the appropriations from.
Okay.
The money exists. That's all. So I appreciate that though. But I assure you we won't spend more than we have to. But yeah.
You can use Councilman Whittington's credit card.
Yeah,
and
that works too.
Name it the Whittington Elevator, the Whittington People Mover.
Good evening, Council. I would definitely have to go back and look at some more numbers to try to pull some more finances for that piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Councilman Whittington. Any other questions, comments, discussion? If not, the motion on the floor is for passage. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Whittington.
Yes.
President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 8-0.
With the vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-44 has passed on all 3 readings.
CPO 2025-45, in order to establishing a fund for the City of Gary and Hard Rock Casino matches for Lake County Convention Center and providing for additional appropriations in Casino Operating Fund for the fiscal year 2025 expenses, and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-18-6.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Brown.
I move for passage of CPO 2025-45 on second reading with the Finance Committee meeting on Monday, August the 18th at 5:00 p.m. Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk. Tuesday the 12th.
Is that on?
Tuesday. She said Tuesday.
Oh,
Oh, no, she said Monday the 18th.
Monday the 18th.
Oh, he did though.
let's do it as well. Let's do it as well.
Yeah, so I'm okay.
You don't do the 12th?
Can I do the 12th?
Yes, okay.
Well, I mean, we can't, if that's when you guys, if that's a preference.
Well, the reason why I said that, because the presentation, we saw the presentation, and it's kind of lengthy, for the comprehensive plan. So I want them to be able to have as much room as possible to have questions asked by council members regarding the plan. That's the only reason.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you do the 12th?
I mean, do you think there's time to do both?
Whatever you say, ma'am.
I mean, I'm
The
okay.
12th is fine.
I'm okay with doing the 12th.
She said the 18th.
That's okay.
You good?
I'll find anything.
If the library will be available. Ms. Lang,
Stick with the chief.
the library available on the 18th?
That's a Monday, yeah, I have to check.
It's a Monday. Yeah, maybe we should.
Okay.
If we can do the Tuesday, if that's okay with you, it's easy, because we already have the library.
Tuesday the 12th at 5 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's been moved in second. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy,
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver,
Yes.
Councilman Washington,
Yes.
Councilman Whittington,
Yes.
and President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 8-0.
Thank you. With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-45 passes on second reading with the Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, August the 12th at 5 p.m. Thank you for your patience with us, Councilwoman Brown.
CPO 2025-46, an ordinance providing for a transfer of appropriations between series for the Gary City Court for the fiscal year 2025 budget and forwarded to the Common Council for action and passage pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-18-6, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller, and Judge Deidre L. Monroe, Gary City Court.
Madam President.
Councilwoman Brown.
I move for passage of CPO 2025-46 on second reading with the Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, August 12th at 5 o'clock p.m. Second.
It's been moved in second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy,
Yes.
Councilman Tolliver,
Yes.
Councilman Washington,
Yes.
Councilman Whittington,
Yes.
and President Latham.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2025-46 is passed on second reading.
Madam President, it's pending ordinances and resolutions on second reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we'll have reports and questions of city officials. Councilwoman Barstow.
My question. I know that we gave contracts out to grass cutters. What's the process? Because I've requested some lots be cut. They haven't been cut. One particular lot, code enforcement told me who the lot belonged to, which was two of the lots, half of a block almost. Redevelopment owned a couple, private citizens owned others that weren't in the area. My question was, can we go ahead and cite those people who own it and do whatever? The contractor came out and cut two lots and left the rest. It looks a mess. I'm tired of citizens asking me why the grass can't get cut. Why is this high? And like I said, a block club asked me, they're having an event. can you get the grass cut for us? I put the request in and the grass is still as tall as I am.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman, for that question. In reference to what you just referenced, we have, if it's city-owned property, and/or any other municipal or government entity property, of course, we should take care of our own, period. There's no question, there's a debate about that. So if you bring any others to our attention, myself or Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Suggs, we have to see him get right on that. In regards to privately owned properties, you may, by public information, seen that the city can be held liable for going on private property without a judge order or permission from that owner to cut and/or site. And so we're just following the process. When they go out on site, understand that it's then assigned to court. Then from there, if they appear at that first court hearing, the judge will, and I appreciate Judge Monroe, she has been acting on those individuals very promptly. But if they don't, then there's a requirement legally for them to perfect service to that individual, which only delays it. We understand it is very frustrating. Trust me, I just wanted to go on and cut some myself because it is unacceptable. Understand that Mayor Milton stresses the need to keep our city as clean as possible. And so I just ask you to stay working with us in regards to just getting on top of it. Again, I tell you all the time, you never bug us. Continue to ask, continue to press, and we'll do our best to try to fast track that process as quickly as we can. But if nothing else, give you an answer on the status of it.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Washington?
I wanted to ask if the administration had a stance on Airbnbs, and this is why I asked this. I'm for home ownership and renting for ownership, but since I've been on the council, we've had a plethora, a large amount of Airbnbs come through the council, especially in the first district. And I want to make sure that we are aware that, I want to make sure, maybe this is something that Ms. Sharp can work with you all on to see. I want the city, as we begin to rise and begin to have opportunities and jobs, I want people to be able to rent or either to have a home that they can own as compared to renting an Airbnb. And I'm hoping that certain parts of the city does not become vacation destination spots because people have bought up a lot of property and they are just using them as Airbnb. I know me and Halliburton would love ownership, home ownership from renters in the second. I know Marion would like it in the fourth, Ms. Brown in the third, Ms. Linda Brown's power, especially in the fifth, which is a large portion. And we had a discussion, we haven't finalized, but the concern is about the Airbnb just, and I know this is something that they did downstate, but we want to make sure that we are not literally pricing people out or pushing people out of eventually as the city begins to bring more development, more business, jobs, that people are not able to actually live in the community that they're working in.
So I'll take that back again. I think that if you go back and replay some of those planning and zoning meetings, a lot of these have existed in our community for quite some time. What I will speak to is that I believe we have, as a collective, the council as well as our team has done a good job of telling people on what they need to do to comply with the law. And we're just starting to see it come to fruition. It's the same thing with the daycares. They've been there. We've just been very diligent thanks to our code team, council knocking on doors, our planning and development team. They've just been consistent about answering those calls and telling people what they need to do to become compliant, talking to state individuals, and it's helping us police that a little bit better. As far as an official statement, I believe that should come best from the mayor, who sets the vision for the entire administration and our team on how we treasure pathway forward. In regards to these, it'd be hard to blanket and say what the process can be. But to speak to also your point of Airbnbs in other communities, there's an Airbnb that was a surprise to myself and the chief of police recently in the 4th district. She just left, but in the 4th district, that right by Pulaski School, and I was actually shocked. And it has very positive, glowing reviews on it. But they exist, I think, a lot more than if you go on Airbnb or Vrbo and put in, you'll see there's probably more than what we realize. We're just seeing all of these people starting to become compliant. So I do think we work together like we've done so far this entire process since 2024 on what is best. And the ones that won't comply, of course, they should not be within our city because they have to first get the zoning approvals and the special use permits. And then go from there in regards to at least addressing those that are not gonna be good stewards in the neighborhood. Those are the ones that hurt our neighbors, our neighborhoods the most, our neighbors and the residents of Gary. And so I think that's the first start as we move forward. So, and I'll make sure I get an official perspective from the mayor.
And the Cuba staff, it's not really asking for a perspective, but just something to think about as we go forward, because I know we have a lot of contractors in the city that would like to rehab homes and sell them and to rent them, and eventually people can become homeowners. And I believe as the 1st district begins to be Airbnb'd out, it's going to spread across into other cities if we don't get these other properties rehabbed or built so people can actually become homeowners. And it's, to a certain extent, it's about supply and demand, and you really can't make people not use their property for a certain. And as long as they're paying property taxes because they pay a different tax bracket, it benefits the city. But from the standpoint of council members and home ownership, it's always great to have homeowners or renters living in the community. Thank you, Mr. Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. I'll just speak briefly on the 1st district and the short-term rentals, and saying that I've actually, I can only speak to my experience. I haven't heard a lot of, I haven't gotten the same amount of complaints this summer as I have gotten it in previous summers. The proliferation, I guess, of short-term rentals came during COVID and shortly after COVID when there were limited travel options. Since then, and again, I used to live in between 2 short-term rentals on either side, and both of them have gotten out of the short-term rental business. I'll say a couple of things. One, all Airbnbs are not the same. When the owner lives locally, a lot of residents in the 1st district also have other properties that are Airbnbs. They take a lot more care. They're in the properties more often. There are certain rules that they can implement, even on the platform, saying no local renters. They're more diligent about who they accept as renters because they're in and out of the property more often. So those tend to be better as opposed to owners. I think at the last meeting, Councilman Wissington talked about these larger outfits that have a larger portfolio of properties. So the owner may not necessarily be local. They may have 10 or 12 even on the platform, and a handful of them are in the 1st district. That's a little different. Also, it must not have been important because it left mine dead. Thank you, Councilman Washington. It happens. All the middle-aged women out there know.
So just a couple updates, and I won't be long. Just to answer the question that was posed a little earlier, the City of Gary Police Department does have an anonymous text-to-tip line. You can also send those information anonymously to the Gary Police Department. So our text-to-tip line is 219-207-8477. That's 219-207-TIPS. You can text that line 24/7. It does go through anonymously. They may sometimes respond and ask follow-up questions, but none of your information is captured other than those anonymous tips. There's also a various number of emails that you can see on our City of Gary website that you can send those anonymous tips to. We always encourage people, if you feel like something's going on, call 911. You can say, I don't want to give my name, and they'll say thank you. That's how it works. You can also call the non-emergency number, 219-660-0000. Our police chief Derek Cannon, who you can talk to, or our fire chief, they will tell you you're never a bug. We do not mind. It is our job, it is our service to come out and service the public, and we do it proudly. Mayor Melton has talked about the initiative that he put before our administration, and the acronym is I Serve. We serve our community, so please, it's never hesitant. I don't care if you thought you heard gunshots and it was fireworks, that's fine. Call it in. It is our job to look at it and make sure it's not a gunshot, because you never know. You may have caused something that we did not know, and it helps us land a case. And to that point, I wanted to share a release that just came out today that was shared with all of the council and the community, and you'll probably see it in your local paper tomorrow. We released the mid-year numbers, and Chief Cannon has shared this at Councilman Halliburton's community meeting along with Councilman Tolliver. The mid-year numbers from January 1 to 2025 to June 30th of 2025, we are down 55% in homicides. 55% in homicides compared to this time last year. I'm sure that's amazing. It also shares additional data on that report that will come out, that there's a 8.4% rise in patrols, that we had a 49% decline in non-fatal overdoses. That is what the work is happening in our community, that we are having less people overdose, almost 50% decline in overdoses, 33% down in fatal traffic accidents, and 26% decline in non-fatal shootings, and they have an 88% homicide solve rate. 88%. The national average is 57%. So to put that in perspective, they are way surpassing the national average. I say that to say that don't let the people out there persuade you to think that good things are not happening in our community. They are. Our men and women of public safety are kicking tail. And so because of that, if you don't believe me, come ask them yourself. They will be there tomorrow at our National Night Out. You can come and join us tomorrow beginning at 5 p.m. at the Gary Railcat Stadium. It is a free event. Bring your children, bring your loved ones. Everybody can come and enjoy a great night, engaging with our public safety officials. We ask you to ask them about this data. Ask them about the smoke alarms they're coming and install in your home. Ask them about the run times that they're doing. They are working night and day to make our city, make us proud of our city. And so we appreciate them. We appreciate the council for pivoting to move your council meeting to tonight. We don't take that lightly. We could have had to choose between the two, but and in the spirit of collaboration that's been all so much, you guys were happy to make this adjustment. And so on behalf of Mayor Milton, we just thank you for that. And then the last thing I want to put out there is that if you are not already planning to this weekend, please, please make your way down to our lovely beach for our 2025 Gary Air Show. The air show right now, the weather is looking amazing, y'all. We are expecting 0 rain for the first time in 3 years. So we encourage everybody, come out, please enjoy. This is your city, you deserve to enjoy it. The Thunderbirds are the headliner this year, and they're so hard to get. They are expecting it. If you see or hear planes flying across your head on Thursday and Friday, that is their test runs. There is no emergency or no war going on. That is just them practicing. But the official air show is Saturday and Sunday, so we encourage you all to come enjoy. We do have a space where you can sit down and enjoy some of our council who will be there in a tent that's right outside the aquatorium for our council, and some of our city officials who will sit there and engage with our public to also just enjoy a great evening and a great couple of days out. So again, on behalf of Mayor Milton, we just thank you for your continued partnership, and the residents for just always being so gracious to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. If there aren't any other questions, comments for city officials, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.